Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So today I want to talk about the Witcher 4 tech demo, and of course I just want to preference some things before we actually get into it. One, this is a tech demo. It doesn't represent really the game at all, to be honest, because it is just a tech demo. It was specifically created to show off features and the graphics and stuff like that, but this is not at all the game. Now, I mean, you would assume, at least if they're showing it off, a lot of it is going to be at least true, but whether or not anything represents what the game is going to be, I want to talk about something specifically, which is the game's, well, not game, I guess, tech demo graphics and performance based on what they have said. Now let's go back here. We're just going to go back to one specific moment, and I'm going to play it because this is the moment that I want to talk about.
It's running on a standard PlayStation 5 at 60 FPS with ray tracing.
All right, so we all heard that, right? The game is running on the standard PlayStation 5 at 60 frames per second with ray tracing. But as you notice when you listen to them, they miss one important detail, and that is resolution. The game, or the video, my bad, I keep saying game, I don't know why, but the video is uploaded in 4K, so that gives you the impression that it would be running at 4K right now. But they didn't actually say what resolution the tech demo is actually running at. So it could be 4K native, which I highly doubt. It could be 4K upscaled, which it probably is, or it could just be at a lower resolution. But there is a few things that I noticed while watching this video, and it does have motion blur, so maybe that is some parts of it, but there are areas, like if we go back to some of the tree areas, where is it? It's like right here somewhere, right here with these trees. Now, I just want to prove that this is 4K, so we go down here, the quality is 4K, which is the max quality, so it is, we are looking at this at 4K, and I do have 4K monitors, so it should be just fine with 4K. But if we look at this view right here, this little frame, you can see there's a lot of blur on everything. I mean, everything, if you actually pause the video, everything is blurry. Now, of course, it's going to be a little bit blurry because it's on PlayStation, and usually consoles have motion blur enabled. I don't know, I haven't played console in a while, so I don't know if it's like a toggleable option at this point in the settings menus on consoles, but usually when games do console showcases, there's at least motion blur is turned on, so we'll have to think about that. But still, even with that said, you can see the sword handles right here with the hoodie. It's just super blurry. You almost can't make out any detail in the handles because it is so blurry. And then you can see over here in the trees on the left side is also very blurry, and the trees on the right side are very blurry. The leaves or needles, I think it's a pine tree, so maybe it's needles and not leaves, but still, you get my point. Now, don't get me wrong, when the game, or when the tech demo, I keep saying game, you have to excuse me for that, I'm probably going to keep saying that. When it's just moving normally, don't get me wrong, it can look pretty good. My biggest issue is that it doesn't actually seem like it is at 4K native. It seems like it's upscaled. And then another thing is right here, when the horse does that and spits on the ground, look at that horse's face. That's kind of funny. I want to look at something right here, and it's when the horse moves its head. Right here, you can see there is kind of an outline right here. You see like a blurry outline right here, as if the horse's mouth is still over here. It's almost like there is some ghosting right there, which makes me think maybe they're using frame gen, maybe to get 60 frames per second. It's actually 30 frames, and then they turn on frame gen to get 60 frames with 2x frame generation. Maybe that's how they're getting 60 frames per second. But as you can see right here, there's like some outlines around the mouth. Not to mention, it's also very blurry, but it's kind of a cutscene, and it's blurry everywhere because you got like motion blur and then depth of field, so that's not really a good example of it being blurry. So let's skip ahead a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, the game looks pretty good graphically, right? The textures are really good. The water quality is really good. We got unnecessary detail on the horse's muscles. I mean, there's probably going to be like 3 people that pay attention to that while you're actually playing the game. I also think that this tech demo uses TAA, which is kind of unfortunate because it uses depth of field, which makes things more blurry. It uses motion blur, which makes things more blurry. And then it uses TAA, most likely, which makes things softer and more blurry. And then this right here is kind of a good example of, I don't know, maybe it's YouTube's compression a little bit because YouTube is bad with trees. But this right here, when you actually pause it and look at the details of the trees, it's a bit of a pixelated, blurry mess right here. You can't really see much detail. I mean, you just see green. Let's get into town here. The animations are also excellent. Like, really, really good animations for sure. Hopefully that is also in the game. And I also really like the color palette. I just like just bright colors. The game just really pops right now with these bright colors. Tech demo, my bad, okay? I keep saying game, tech demo. See, I paused it again, and that's another thing. It's just when you pause it, sometimes when it's just moving normally and playing out, but when you pause it, you really get to see how blurry some things are. Like, for example, these leaves right here are super, super blurry. They're like more blurry than everything else in the scene. These leaves. This right here is pretty nice. The fur looks good. The animations of pushing people around like that kind of remind me of Assassin's Creed, which is pretty good. Assassin's Creed always had good animations like that, but the animations in this game are pretty good, I will say that. Tech demo. So we definitely get to see right here that motion blur is 100% not only on, but turned to max or something, because the amount of blur when the camera turns is crazy. I mean, look at this blur right here as the camera's turning. You almost can't see anything because there's so much blur. Can we all just agree on one thing though? Can we all agree that motion blur just kind of sucks? Can we mostly agree that motion blur kind of sucks? So can we at least agree on one thing? Because I know a lot of people are going to be disagreeing with me in the comments, those that do comment. So I found another weird thing as I was watching this video, which is there seems to be, I don't know, we're gonna have to watch it again, maybe in slow motion or something. Let's see, can we turn this to slow motion? Yes, here we go. So this guy, when he tosses the apples, we see a little bit, or at least I think I see a little bit of ghosting on the apples. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but I think I see a little bit of ghosting or something on these apples. And I know what a lot of people are going to be thinking, how insignificant is that? It is kind of insignificant, but right back here when they say the game is running at 60 frames per second at with ray tracing on, and then the video is 4K and it says 4K tech demo, but they never actually say what resolution the tech demo is running at. I find that kind of suspicious. Like, why wouldn't you want to let people know what resolution it's actually running at? Like, if it's actually running at 4K, why wouldn't you want to say, hey, we got this looking this good and running at 4K on the PS5 at 60 frames per second with ray tracing? You know, why wouldn't you say that if it was exactly 4K native? I just got a feeling that even though this tech demo looks good at, you know, points, I'll say that it does look good and there are some good looking things, but we gotta all remember that this is a tech demo and it is not representative of the game at all. That's what they say, at least. And also we gotta remember that it is Unreal Engine, and most Unreal Engine things, sure, this is supposed to be Unreal Engine like 5.6 and have some better performance or something like that, but we got to remember that it is still Unreal Engine, and pretty much every Unreal Engine game, not all, don't get me wrong, okay, not all, there is actually some good optimized Unreal Engine titles out there. I mean, they're few and far between, but they're out there somewhere. But most Unreal Engine games are unoptimized. Most Unreal Engine 5 titles are just kind of unoptimized. They don't run very well, and you usually have to use some sort of upscaling just to make them playable. Great, now the video won't play. I think I was too mean to it. I'm sure the game is gonna look great, but the only thing that I'm concerned about, and just I think more people should talk about and question, is if especially the consoles, are they going to need frame generation? Is upscaling going to be needed, or is it not going to be native 4K? Personally, I'm not sure about frame generation, but I personally do think that they are using some sort of upscaling. Now, how much upscaling, that's up for debate, but I can almost guarantee you that they're using some sort of upscaling. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you think down below, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed, and I'll see you next time.